They were joined by Brandon Hiller, the founder of one of the leading TikTok ads and UGC agencies, Vast Media. This episode was super tactical, and we talked about how to scale brands from $0 to $250 a month in ad spend on TikTok, how to reuse your existing creatives over and over again to avoid creative burnout, and how TikTok is taking over Google to be the next big search engine, and how can you take advantage of it. Let's get right into the podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the Ecom Insider Talk. Today we're joined by Bradley. Nice to have you here. Hope you're having a great day. Maybe you can introduce yourself and tell our listeners a little bit about you.
Yeah, thank you very much, mate. So, yeah, it's a pleasure to be on here today. Like you just said, my name is Brad. I run an e-com agency specializing in Facebook and TikTok advertising. We also have our own studio here in the UK, where I'm from, a place called Bournemouth, which is the south. And we shoot a lot of UGC content in there as well, primarily for our TikTok ad clients. Been running the agency for about 5 years. And just dig into anything you guys want to talk about.
Yeah, that's exciting because right now TikTok is the hottest thing. We're seeing, like, we're talking to a couple of our friends who run agencies as well. They get 9-figure brands who want to work with them. And previously, if you just did Facebook, it would be very hard because you needed to have that large spend backing you up. But now, if you know how to do TikTok, even if you're kind of like relatively starting out, you can grow huge agencies. You can get to nice spends, work with great clients, and it's a great growth opportunity both on the D2C space and also in the agency space. Maybe like typically how we start these podcasts is we like to go way back before TikTok, before the agency. What got you into business and how did you get started?
Yeah, so my story was actually a little bit of an interesting one. I actually come from a background in investment banking here in the UK. So I left school at 18, straight out of A-levels, what we call them, just before university. I was offered a job at like a pretty decent investment bank. Went straight into that, worked in that field for 2.5 years, and I'd finally just had enough, completely had enough of it. I was, borderline, depressed, hating my job, hating, the whole work-life balance that I was doing. Looking at people in the office that were, older than me, 40 plus years old, and looking at them going, I don't want to be you. Like, this isn't what I want. This is what I thought I wanted when I left school. It was like, let's get a job that pays, great money and everything else. And it was really motivated by that. But actually doing it, I just realized that it really wasn't for me. And so I quit that job. I didn't really have much of a plan. I quit the job in October of 2016. And within a month and a half, I had then moved to France to do a ski season. Which was something that was a really quick decision to make. I'd only ever been skiing once before with some friends on like a week holiday when I was like 18. And I was like, it's the winter time. There's not really anything going on around here anyway. Let's just go and have a year out, or just at least 6 months out. So did a ski season in a place called Val Thorens in France, and did that for 6 months. So I was out there till the end of April. Met my girlfriend out there, which was really nice. We came home for a month, and then we went traveling around Southeast Asia for 3.5 months. And that's kind of where the idea was born for the agency. Always been interested in advertising, specifically TV advertising. I don't know why. I've always been so into like films and TV and stuff like that, and always thought I could work in that industry. And TV ads, I always looked at TV ads and thought, why are they so bad? Like, the majority of them, like, it's just like they were painstakingly bad. So I always thought there was something I could maybe do there. But so the idea for the agency was actually kind of a bit of a stereotypical one, like, born on a beach in Bali, and kind of went from there, man. Came home, and that's what I did straight away. Went straight to it with the agency. Didn't get another job, just worked on building up, my agency that I still have today.
Yeah, that's nice. I've met a lot of people who went to Bali and they started a business. There's this one guy, his name is Eric, from Germany. He was 17. He dropped out of high school. He went to Bali. In his first 3 weeks, he started making 10K. He made his first 10K in sales, which was amazing, like in such a short time frame with no experience. So Bali definitely is something else.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
interesting. It's interesting also with your background, that you decided to go into marketing, because with finances, you see some people who maybe work at a company, then maybe they, I don't know, raise funds, or they work maybe as a CFO somewhere else, or start a private equity company themselves. So it's interesting that you went into marketing and kind of like made that um, career pivot. So what attracted you to that? Was it the lifestyle? Was it just the passion for marketing in general and sales?
Yeah, it was a bit of both, but I'd say probably an 80-20 split on lifestyle. Massively, just realizing that, I want to work remotely. I want to be able to do what I want, like with my life for the next few years at least. I'd like to be able to travel, see more of the world. That was the only time I'd ever really seen anywhere in the world other than, close to home in Europe. So it was something that I was like, right, I want to be able to do this and work online. Um, yeah, and I obviously love advertising and stuff like that. Social media marketing was obviously a hot thing back then. It was like kind of just,
Right.
kicking off all of these social media marketing agencies. Um, Another real stereotypical thing, I read Tim Ferriss's 4 Hour Work Week, and that was probably the book as well that like really kicked it off in my head. That was like, oh, maybe this is possible. We should start looking into that.
These days, I don't hear enough people giving Tim Ferriss the credit. He was kind of like the backbone to a lot of the gurus and their angles and what they're using right now, and still a lot of his ideas are around today. Now let's get into the nitty gritty stuff and what most of the people here are for. TikTok. I'm sorry, we're gonna skip on Facebook now. We're gonna talk about the hot topic TikTok. Now, um, generally speaking, I've heard a lot of different opinions on TikTok. What are the most important levers? How can you scale? Why people fail? Maybe I'll start with this question, because there's a lot of brands who might be succeeding on Facebook and they want to start advertising on TikTok. What do you see brands do wrong when they go from Facebook to TikTok?
Yeah, well, I mean, the obvious one that everyone's probably talking about at the moment now that we've seen, back in 2020, we started on TikTok ads, so we were super early to the game there. Trying to take your Facebook creatives and just pump them into TikTok and expect them to work, it's a completely different platform. And I think everyone's a bit educated now that they know they can't do that, probably through trial and error. But it was something that we saw a lot in the beginning. It's like really ugly UGC, video ads that just weren't any kind of like nativeness to TikTok at all, not using any text overlays, voice overlays, like anything like that. And just really, that is probably the number one mistake in terms of creative. Media buying, it's not the most complicated thing in the world. Like if you can media buy on Facebook, you can probably media buy on TikTok. It's a little bit harder. Like there is some nuances there for sure. The actual platform is a bigger pain in the ass to actually use. It's terrible. I've been going back and forward with the TikTok product team for so long about their ads manager. But yeah, that's probably the biggest mistake. Creatives was the biggest lever.
So if someone like imagine right now, I'm a brand that is used to creating a bunch of creatives on Facebook. What should be my mindset going into TikTok? How should I structure my creatives?
So you should structure what in terms of getting the creatives or actually placing the ads?
Building them. So like creating the actual
Yeah.
ads you would place some media buy with.
So UGC's become like a hot topic now as well, and you probably get followed by 5 UGC creators on Twitter per day at the moment,
Yep.
like I do. We were doing this back in 2020 as well when we realized that clients, just didn't have any creators in house that could make effective TikTok style content, and it really wasn't a job back then. But luckily, we built up a small kind of team of freelancers, girls mainly, who could make product videos for our clients. So first step for that would be finding solid UGC creators. Twitter's full of them. They are a little bit more expensive there, and they are the prices for them are just increasing as the opportunity opens up. There's other platforms out there that are terrible, like Billo. I wouldn't really recommend, because for every 10 videos you get, 3 might be all right. But the best thing I think really, and the best thing we've done for the agency, is have my creative director is also an amazing video editor, and he's just hired another couple of video editors recently as well. And what we do is we'll work with UGC people to get their videos, but then we'll also get the raw versions as well. So we can really, just swap out that first 5 seconds with the hook. We can keep the, the meat in the middle that's like the great kind of unboxing or whatever else part of the video. And we can just add loads of different things and make loads of variations out of like one creator's set of videos. That's a big thing at the moment that people aren't doing enough of, is just reordering your video or changing that one thing up. Because when it comes to creative rotation, sometimes you just need to refresh that first 4 seconds, 5 seconds, you know?
For sure. A question here. I'm curious about like the retargeting funnel because with Facebook, I do have some experience. I've seen some interesting retargeting funnels, retargeting creatives on Facebook. And like what specifically meaning is basically within the creatives, like the brands, they're directly talking to the customers, like mentioning, hey, we saw you check out, or basically you forgot your cart and so on and so forth. With TikTok, like mostly the creatives are seeing they're very native. It doesn't even seem like the brand is talking to the customer. It's like a third person talking about the brand to the audience in a way. But for retargeting, what kind of angles do you use there? What kind of creatives do you use there for retargeting customers?
So to be completely honest, retargeting on TikTok doesn't work that well. It's a massively top of funnel platform. Like, it really doesn't perform as well. You do see a great incremental lift to other platforms like Facebook and Google. Like, the retargeting that you'll get, you know, from there will massively improve from running TikTok as a channel, because it's so top of funnel heavy. But what you just said there is really interesting about the whole creative aspect, and it's so true. Is that the whole difference of Instagram and TikTok is, like, TikTok is where people go to show their authentic selves, not, you know, the best version of themselves. So that's why people are so engaged with it. But at the same time, you can't make something look like an ad, because people will just scroll straight away. Like, you won't be able to stop that bump stop at all. So it has to come across really native. So one of the ways of doing that is not making it overselling, but then also there's a fine line between just running a TikTok trend, right? Because you do obviously want to be giving some kind of, you know, typical, like, you know, marketing about your products. Like, you don't want to just be jumping on a TikTok trend, running it as an ad, and then seeing if that works. You know, you need to do some sort of hooks, you know, sale point in there. But that's what we see work best, man. We've got a couple of other, you know, dark hat strategies that we use to do that, because there's something called Spark ads on there, which is essentially, you probably would have known, it's like running a post ID on Facebook. So you can either run it through your brand account, or the other type of Spark ad is like a branded, you know, partnership on Instagram. So you can run it through, you can whitelist an influencer's page, etc., etc. But what a lot of people don't know, and this is actually a really good trick, is there's a thing called custom identities when you go to set up your ads. So a dark post on TikTok is essentially just the normal way of running ads. There's only one place for them to click through to, and that's the URL. They can't click your profile and go to there. So it's actually the better way of running ads, and we usually see that outperform any other type of ad on there. Because Spark ads, like I said, they can click through to your profile, whoever the profile that you're running it through, the influencer's profile. CTR is usually lower. CPMs are a lot higher because you're getting charged more for that inventory. And then, yeah, overall conversion rate's lower. But so the trick to get around this is to, instead of using your own brand logo and brand name in the custom identity part, set up a new one. Set up something else that looks like it's not coming from your brand. This isn't against, you know, TikTok's like rules. You won't get your account banned for anything like this. But it is typically like, you know, quite like, you know, dark hat strategy, I think. But you can then create a profile, say that your brand is really in the gifting space. You could do finds by X person, finds by Lucy, or you could do
or you can do
something about gifting.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Exactly. Or you do something about gifting, like make it look like it's almost like a listicle or something like that, like an advertorial kind of profile that you see people using on Facebook and stuff for their ads. And if that works well there for you, try that on TikTok as well, because we've seen it to work extremely well on some accounts.
Okay, amazing. This is a very tactical and very valuable tip for our listeners. So appreciate that. That's great.
If you need help auditing or improving your email or SMS marketing, schedule a call and let's see if and how we can help. Go to agencygr.com/call and book in a call with us. That's agencyj as in Jacob, R as in Rainus.com/call, and let's see how we can help. Going back to what you mentioned about TikTok, and that's interesting. I love the quote. People go on TikTok to be authentic. They go on Instagram to show their best selves. I think this is also a very good mindset to think about when you push out those creatives, because a lot of times the creatives you have on IG, you know, they're very polished, whereas the creatives you see on TikTok, a lot of times they look like iPhone recordings, and someone, you know, just puts over a text, some voiceovers. They're simplistic, but there's still a lot of thought, a lot of effort that goes into making them look authentic, but not too salesy, but salesy enough to where they convert.
100%.
a quick question I had. This is just one quick question. Creative rotation. I heard some people say that with TikTok, if you, for example, use the same creative, maybe you cut off a second or maybe add a new second to the same creative, they would see this creative as something completely new, and then the CPMs would drop. Is this something do you see, or is it typically like you need to test out the first 4 seconds?
So we do that a lot of the time. It's not so much of like just adding 1 second or taking one away. We do change a little bit more on the creatives. Like I said, if we're just swapping in a hook or changing CTA or changing any of the meat in the middle. Creative rotation. Everyone likes to spit all the time about how, you know, you need to be refreshing creatives every 5 days. You know, you need 10 new creatives every week and stuff like that. That's not necessarily true. Like we've had accounts that are running at, you know, 80K GBP plus monthly spend, 100K plus. And we've had creators perform in those accounts for a month, 2 months, 3 months on some of them. So some accounts you do need more creative rotation, and it is kind of an account by account basis. But once you find that creative that does slap, usually you can run it for a long time before you actually see any kind of real creative fatigue. And then like I said, if you do, there's easy ways to just edit the video, change it up a little bit and get it back in there to have that kind of, you know, fresh rotation. But you should always be testing your creatives, you know, in your sandbox campaign at the same time as well. But it's something that people just like to throw around because they've heard it a lot. Like, you know, you need new creatives all the time. It's not always true.
So how deep do you go in the analysis when you're refreshing creatives? Do you look at basically all the view ratios, view 50, view 25, view 50, view 75, then you see like, hey, there's a huge drop off here. Let's try to cut out the middle and figure out something there. Or is it kind of like less of a data decision?
Yeah, so we do use the data that's on platform for that, for the whole, you know, CTRs, average watch time per person, the engagement metrics around that TikTok really value themselves, because they place a lot of, you know, preference on the creatives behind the engagement metrics rather than the conversion metrics, which is like slightly different to Facebook. So you'll see sometimes ads, say you run 5 ads in an ad group, one of them will be getting probably 90% of the spend, maybe more. And that's not always a performance driven decision from the algorithm. I found that sometimes you need to, you know, be actively aware that you need to make some edits there to make sure that you get, you know, spend to your other creatives to actually give them a chance to perform as well. Because TikTok, like I said, it values things based on more of an engagement point of view than a conversion point of view, which I think is different to Facebook. The algorithm is definitely not as mature still. But obviously low CPMs, great opportunity, works really well for some brands. But yeah, it's definitely getting better.
For you, a quick question in terms of the agency spend, like how does it like compare like Facebook and TikTok? Is it even right now, or is the Facebook still dominating on TikTok being on the rise right now?
So for us, we're spending more on TikTok now than we are on Facebook. I think for most people, and now we're seeing, you know, like I said, I've been doing this since 2020 with this. I knew this day would come where there's a million different TikTok agencies that are now, you know, seeing the blue ocean out there that are up and running and trying to build up their own TikTok agency. And that's great. But yeah, we still think Facebook's definitely a great and more stable option for some brands at scale. But like I said, we're running a lot of scale on TikTok as well now. I mean, we've got 2 accounts this month that we're taking from, and this, I'm a little bit nervous saying this, but because it's not the end of the month yet, but we're taking them from $0 in ad spend to one to 100K by the end of the month, and the other one to 120K plus by the end of the month. So that we're aiming to scale from nothing to 6 figures in spend by the end of month 1. So yeah, I'm excited by that challenge. In there should make for a couple great case studies if we pull it off right. But yeah,
that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
On the topic of brands and different platforms, Facebook and TikTok, what are brands that should not touch TikTok in your opinion?
That's an interesting one. I don't know if I'd say that there's brands that shouldn't touch TikTok. Obviously, if you're a brand, like if you're in the supplement space, if you're in any kind of stuff that you'll get rejections all the time, then it is a little bit more difficult. So like we work with a few supplement clients as well. You should try and get pre-approval for everything before you get whitelisted on your ads, on your landing pages, everything. So you just don't run into those, you know, problems whilst you're trying to run your ads, getting your account banned and everything else. we definitely see better performing demos. But then sometimes people say like, oh, TikTok won't work for my audience because they're 35 plus or they're in their 40s. We've seen those kind of age demos work extremely well. And we've had experience with average order values of like within a few hundred, dollars range, so like $300 range. But I've seen other people have things work that are up to like 1K plus, in terms of average order values. So in terms of brands that shouldn't be on there, I don't really know. I think it's worth a test for everyone, really.
Right. So then for like higher AOV brands, use TikTok as kind of like the top of a funnel advertising channel.
Yeah.
Then you retarget through Facebook, use, retargeting audiences, whatnot through Facebook and try to convert there.
Definitely. I think that's what you've got to understand is this is a huge top of funnel platform. The inventory's cheap. CPMs are really cheap on there. You can definitely get a lot of, potential buyers into your funnels that you can then, retarget in other places as well. So when looking at it, try and look at it from those perspectives. Obviously, TikTok's attribution we can speak about quickly as well, which is it's terrible. It's still last click, basically. It's like 1 day click still. So you're going to have to use post-purchase surveys. You're going to have to use third-party attribution tools like Triple Whale Pixel or Northbeam, which actually models the data. Triple Whale basically won't get anything outside of that attribution window from TikTok, unfortunately, because it's all 1 day click still. But it will reorganize the UTMs in a much nicer way, so you can still media buy and optimize based off of that kind of 1 day click traffic. But yeah, I mean that's what we do at the moment with all of our clients. We have to implement post-purchase surveys at a minimum. It's kind of a requirement for TikTok ads, I think.
Yeah, you use Octane AI.
We have used Octane for the quiz stuff before. Seen that work extremely well. One thing that I'm preferring at the moment to that actually is dedicated landing pages. That's been another thing that I think is not just specific to TikTok, but it's been true on Facebook, for the last 5 years that we've been on there. Having dedicated landing pages can make such a difference to your ads. One huge one that everyone knows about really is like the 5 reasons why landing page at the moment, which is a very TikTok style trend that's like turned into like a landing page idea. And we're currently running, some landing pages up for that at scale. So that's doing really well.
So here, just to clarify, you have like separate landing pages per like media buying platform. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. So you can use it on multiple. You can use it on multiple platforms. Some people, what you'll find now is there's a massive overspill now from TikTok to Facebook. So you can take your best performing TikTok ads and run them on Facebook and see how they perform. We usually see that they do very well. And especially if you're a brand that UGC has worked for you guys in the past as well. Because everyone's on TikTok now and everyone's so much more familiar with it, it kind of just all bleeds into one. So it's not like a difference in them being like, well, what's this creative doing here? It's so natural that it kind of just fits, like it just fits in, especially with Instagram bringing out reels and everything else. So you can run that as a separate placement on Facebook and take your best performing TikToks.
Look, it kind of makes sense because I don't know if it's true. Maybe I misread something, but I think I saw somewhere that like adults right now are spending more time on TikTok on average than like any other like social media platform at the moment. So kind of makes
100%.
sense. Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. It really sucks people in. I've done a good job of staying off it personally for a while, but I got sucked in recently. With the whole Johnny Depp trial thing, and I just one night I found myself on there for like an hour and a half, and I was like, this doesn't happen. Like, unless I'm on Twitter, which is the only other one that I'm a big fan of. I couldn't believe that I was even getting sucked into it, and I know better.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's different than that. I think also a huge thing about TikTok. It's just something I just thought about, like on Instagram when you were scrolling through the feed, you see like an image and maybe some text. On TikTok, your whole screen is being filled with a video, so it like really captures your attention. It's very quick, snappy, so it's addicting and hard to get off.
Yeah, it's huge short form content. Another really exciting thing is the search capabilities of it. It's just becoming its own search platform. So like, not only is it rivaling Facebook and making them really worried about their kind of market share there, it's also, I think, going to be rivaling Google in terms of search platform capabilities, because this is a good example. Me and my girlfriend were traveling back from France like a month and a half ago, and we went to stop in a place called Dijon where they make mustard. in France. And before we'd got there, I turned around to my girlfriend and said, okay, do you know what we're going to do whilst we're here? And she goes, oh yeah, and pulls up TikTok, has already got 3 or 4 videos saved from TikTok of what to do in a day in Dijon, which she had just searched into TikTok. And that was kind of like, I already knew people were searching for some things on there, but I didn't realize how quick and good it was, because you can go to TikTok, search something, and get a ton of short form, easy to digest content straight away for you from real human beings. Or you can go to Google, type it out. Like, it makes perfect sense because we are so lazy. Or you can go to Google, type it out, be shown, listicles and blog articles from the top SEO ranked blogs that are all old,
and they're long,
paying for clicks. They're long. You've got to comb all of it for the information to know where to go. You've then got to take that and then search it on Google Maps and everything else. So it's so much quicker to just go to TikTok and do it. So I completely understand why people are doing that.
Wow, that is powerful. And I think this is a good opportunity for brands to do organic TikTok, to think about how they can utilize this, because as time goes on, there are going to be more people, searching for, let's say, skincare advice, searching for very specific problems they have. Also, as you mentioned, travel. I think travel is huge. And now, as you mentioned it makes sense, because I was in Rotterdam the other day and I was going on Google and just trying to figure out places to go to visit. But, the images you see, they're very small, and, in the image, it could look great, but in real life, it doesn't look as nice. So on TikTok, you get a quick demo of where you could go, what you could do, and then you can decide whether it's worth it or not.
100%. That was the thing that got me. I thought it was such a good idea.
Yeah, that's smart. You briefly mentioned one landing page style that worked for you. The top 5 reasons why. I've talked to a couple of our other friends who run TikTok ads. And quite often they see that they need to create custom landing pages for TikTok specifically to convert. Are you always creating custom landing pages, or do you see it's fine to run to the same, let's say, product page as you do? Is it typically through an advertorial, or how does that look for you?
So you definitely could get it working just through running to product pages or bundle pages or stuff like that. I think the whole custom landing page element to it is just something that you can unlock some more scale from. You can see better performance from. It's definitely something that's worth testing. It isn't the most, it isn't the hardest thing in the world to set up either. And I genuinely think if you own an e-com brand, you should be testing landing pages on different channels anyway. Like whether it's Google, whether it's Facebook, you should be testing these things. It's something that's huge to split test. Especially if you have a hero product or a hero offer that really converts well. Have you ever, instead of just running them to the product page where they can click in a million different places, have you ever just ran it to a really good landing page that really shows off that offer, where you're going to get that higher average order value, probably a better conversion rate? One of the landing pages that we're running at the moment for a client, the actual add to cart to purchase conversion rate is 15% on it. So it's huge. It's doing an amazing job there. The client just told me the other day. So yeah, I think it's always worth running, but we do have clients that we just run stuff to product pages for. Depends.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So if you're seeing it's becoming harder to spend more money on TikTok, you need to test. You don't need to just test creatives, also test what's a bit beyond the creative, the landing page, and then try to optimize the customer experience there. Makes sense. So are there any interesting media buying tactics, anything cool you're doing right now that you think other people should know about? Or even better, they shouldn't know about because it's so good.
Well, I gave away that other one, which is probably my biggest at the moment.
Yeah.
I was thinking about releasing a tweet about that one, but I was thinking, I don't know how many people I want knowing this. But now I've said it on your podcast, so it's kind of out there. Yeah, not really. In terms of value optimization, I think has been amazing since it's come in. We were on the beta for it because we're a TikTok agency partner, so we get everything early. That's worked extremely well. So we use that for a lot of scaling. We're definitely using value optimization for scaling, still running lowest cost, obviously in our creative rotation and, on other stuff as well. Search stuff is going to be huge. Obviously, they've got video like live shopping ads that have seemed like they've been coming for a long time now. And I think they already are arrived for some places. Our studio's just trying to get onboarded with that, but it seems like the process is taking so long to be able to do that. because we wanted to do it in a kind of different way as well. We wanted to do it where, we partner with our clients and we'll bring in a model or actress or actor or anything, and they'll be the face of the brand doing the live shopping stream from our studio and linking that back to the client. But it seems like the access with that's going to be a little bit different, because TikTok's idea of that was that, it was going to be like the other way around, or we're taking an influencer and letting them do it. So we're trying to sort that out at the moment. But that's another thing that's going to be huge. I mean, search terms, keyword search, on targeting options, and then people taking more advantage on live shopping.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, so far this podcast has been amazing. I've loved every second of it. It's been very tactical, no BS. I think a lot of people are gonna love this. So Brad, if people want to find you, they want to ask you more questions, understand a bit more about how you think about media buying, TikTok, what's the best place to find you, and how do they find you? Yeah.
Best place to find me is on Twitter at the moment. I think that's the best community and stuff we've got out there in the whole of like DTC and marketing in general. So you can find me on Twitter at Bradley_Vast, VAST. It's the name of my agency, Vast Media Marketing. Connect with me on Twitter. If you're not on there, get on there. It's been a game changer for me. I wish I was more active on it, a couple of years ago when I was just watching silently. So definitely get involved. I think even me and you have been tagged in a few threads recently together, haven't we? From Simo.
Yes, for sure. Twitter has been a great platform. I connected with Simo a while back. I gave him a couple of really great connections, and I was on a call with him the other day, and he told me like he literally reworked his entire business plan because of our conversations. And I think it's so fascinating because it's such a great place to connect with people. And as I've said countless of times on Twitter, unlike Instagram, people not so much flexing, I don't know, by showing, let's say, Rolex or something like that. You kind of flex with words in a way. You can see if someone's real or they're BS by, their threads, their content, and the proof there. So I think it's a very, very genuine, real platform. Authentic, as you said, similar to TikTok.
Yeah, for sure. I've made so many great connections on there. I met my creative director through Twitter. I didn't even realize he was from the same town as me, so we connected over that, and then got to know each other, and then he became like our creative director. I'm doing some stuff with Simo at the moment, and another guy from the UK who's up in Scotland, who also runs a TikTok ad agency. We're working on a couple of projects on the side together at the moment that I'm excited about. And man, I'm just looking forward to seeing everyone. Are you going to geek out Barca?
We'll go to Affiliate World.
You go to Affiliate World, okay.
Yeah, actually, I want to talk to Jacob. I think we might need to rebook our flight on the way there so we can go to kind of like the time when Geek Out's coming. I'll actually shoot you a couple of intros because we know a lot of people who are going to be going there. So before you can meet with them, there are going to be a lot of like exciting brands I know who are going to go.
Awesome.
Yeah, we've already been to 2 Geek Outs. We went to the one in Dubai and the one in Miami. So for this one, we decided, okay, we'll keep calm. We'll go to the Affiliate World and catch up with our friends there. But you should stay for Affiliate World. I think that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether to or not. I was meant to go to the Geek Out back in Dubai, and that would have been my first one, but I just chose not to go, and I've been kicking myself ever since because I wish I went. So I'm really looking forward to this one, and I love Barcelona as well. So.
Shout out Nick Shackelford and James Van Elst. Yeah, amazing events.
100%. He's G.
Yeah, Jacob. Maybe do you have anything else you maybe want to ask Bradley before we kind of wrap up? Something on your mind that's been lingering?
I think it's all good. Let's keep it short and sweet, and let's wrap up.
Value packed. My last question. This is something I asked a couple of podcasts as well. This is second from Tim Ferriss. If you've listened to this podcast, you probably know what the question is. If you had the ability to put a billboard in, let's say, Times Square in New York, any billboard, what would that billboard say?
What would the billboard say? So it's just words.
Yeah, just any message, or it could be an image. Up to you. What would be the creative?
I'm gonna go with just a saying, and the saying's actually from my girlfriend's grandma, and it is, "You only come this way but once." And basically the meaning behind that is, you don't get 2 chances at going around, the world. you only come this way but once. There's only, you've got to do everything that you want to do, whether that's leave your job, start that business, try and get that girl's number, anything like that. That's one of my favorite sayings for things.
Quit your finance job, go ski to France, find your
go
girlfriend
skiing.
and start
Go
an
skiing is
agency.
definitely my biggest advice to anyone who hasn't been skiing. I never got taken skiing when I was a kid. A lot of people don't. It's an expensive holiday, but honestly, there's nothing else like it in the world. You don't get that same experience as you do when you're in the mountains, for sure. So yeah, go skiing as well. Maybe we'll add that in the bottom right corner.
We'll have to go either this year or early next year. I haven't gone skiing in 2 years, but I really want to go.
Yeah, I was there this year. I was in France from January to the end of April, skiing and living out there and working and stuff. And I'm probably going to do the same next year if I can. Try and get out there for as long as I can. Maybe only a couple months this time.
Okay. Well, all right. Thank you so much for hopping on the podcast. Appreciate everyone who's listening in. Hope you have great days. Remember to find Bradley on Twitter. Check out his agency. Go follow him and show him some love. So, all right. Thank you for watching and peace out. If you thought this episode was valuable, share it with a friend that might find this information useful and leave a 5-star review so we can reach more influential people and bring lessons back to you. Now, I'll see you in the next episode.